So let's summarize what we know about the transformations of graphs by looking at the vertex form of the equation. This is going to be a new way that parabola equations are given to you, and they're broken down into pieces. So they will be written like this, and we have seen our a value before, so we know and we're aware of that. And we know that the a value in front of the x squared means multiply the steps 1, 3, 5, 7 to get the new steps in order to sketch our parabola. And what we also discovered today is that if we have a number inside of a bracket next to the x, and it must be inside of the bracket, this we'll call P, and whatever value is there means move left or right opposite to the sign that's given. So we're going to move the parabola left or right. That's called a shift. And whatever number is added or subtracted at the end, we will call Q. And what we discovered about that number is that it tells us to move the parabola up or down according to the sign that's given. So that stays the same sign that's given. The only tricky one is the middle. And this version of the equation of a parabola is called the vertex form because P and Q, whatever numbers P and Q are, give the actual vertex point. But P will be opposite of what's inside of here. So if you're writing a vertex, remember that we write two numbers like this with a comma inside brackets, and you would get that vertex from what's inside of the bracket, opposite the sign, and the last number here. So let's have a look at an example. So here's a parabola given in vertex form, and you are asked to sketch it. So what we want to look at first of all is we know that our a value is -2, so we know what to do with that. It tells us that the parabola will open downwards, and also we're going to multiply our steps by -2. So our original steps 1, 3, 5, 7 will now become 2, 6, 10, and 14, all being negative. So let's start with that, and we'll plot those points. So we'll start at the origin, and we're going to go over 1 down 2. So there's our next point, over 1 down 2. Then we're going to go over 1 down 6, over 1 down 6. There's our next point, and we run out of room, so those are the only points we'll be able to sketch. Let's sketch the symmetrical ones on the left. So there's left 1 down 2, and then left 1 down 6. So here we have part of our transformation done. So this is not this complete parabola yet. We've just done the first part in the yellow box. So we've multiplied it by 2 and made the parabola flip downward. So now this tells us that our parabola now has to move right by 3 units and up by 6 units. So I'm going to take a copy of this parabola and just watch as it moves right by 3 units, and it's going to go up 6 units. Now notice that it has to go right because it's opposite to this sign. So here it goes, right 3 and up 6. So notice that every point that's here went 1, 2, 3 units to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. And you can check that for all of the rest of these points. So this point went 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units up. So that's how you would draw this parabola here with all of its given transformations. So the first value is called a stretch or a compression, and then the other two values, the P and the Q, are called shifts. So either shifting left and right or shifting up and down. So here's our completed parabola here, and the name of this parabola is now called y equals -2 bracket x minus 3 squared plus 6, because that identifies exactly where that parabola sits on our Cartesian plane. And here's something else to consider. Now we did that in a certain way where we did the stretch first and flipped it down, and then we did the shift afterwards and we moved it right or left and then up or down. So you can do it that way, but here's another way of looking at it. You could also have started at the vertex. So remember that P and Q, opposite of P and Q, give you the vertex. So we could have started here at the vertex, 3, 6 right here. And then we could have applied the steps from there. So notice we could have gone over 1, down 2, over 1, down 6, and so on. And then left 1, down 2, and then left 1, down 6, and so on. So we could have done it in two different ways. So you can do the shift first and then the stretch, or you can do the stretch and then the shift after. And the shift left and right, up and down, normally could be done in one step because that's fairly easy to handle. So now you can do the transformation of any parabolas um, given that they are presented to you in this vertex form.